Did you know a federal evacuation order was once issued in the United States without listing any disaster, threat, or emergency, only a command to leave immediately? It happened in the early 1970s, in a quiet river town sitting near a state border. At exactly 6:42 a.m., every radio and television signal was interrupted by a calm federal broadcast. No sirens, no panic in the voice. Residents were told they had 4 hours to evacuate. They were instructed to bring only essentials. They were warned not to ask questions. The authorization code used was reserved for national catastrophes, yet the line explaining the reason for evacuation was completely blank. At first, people assumed it was a drill. That belief collapsed when phone lines to state offices went dead and unmarked federal vehicles appeared on the highways. The vehicles didn't block people from leaving. They blocked anyone from entering. Schools were emptied without allowing parents inside. Hospital patients were moved under armed supervision, their medical files sealed in envelopes marked with dates far into the future. A city clerk later described the most unsettling detail. Birds were leaving the area in sudden waves, as if something invisible was pushing them away. By noon, the town was almost empty. Homes stood unlocked. Food sat cooling on kitchen tables. Pets were left tied to fences, barking at nothing. On the door of City Hall, beneath the official evacuation notice, someone had written 4 words in pen. It's already too late. Weeks later, residents were allowed to return. Officials blamed the evacuation on a classified chemical scare, but there were no cleanup crews. No warning signs, no contamination reports. Inside homes, clocks had stopped at the same minute. Mirrors were covered with sheets. In several buildings, furniture had been rearranged into inward-facing circles, as if meetings had taken place without people. A few residents had refused to leave. Their testimonies were quietly collected and never released. One claimed government trucks returned at night, lowering long cables into storm drains, into the river, and into the ground itself. Another said voices echoed through the empty streets, repeating fragments of conversations that hadn't happened yet. Decades later, a junior federal archivist uncovered evacuation drafts dated years before the incident. Each listed a different cause: flood, riot, contagion, structural failure, all crossed out. The final memo didn't describe a disaster at all. It described a condition, something that intensified when observed, something that grew stronger through awareness itself. The recommendation was chillingly simple. Evacuate first, explain later. If explanation was still possible, the archivist resigned weeks after reading the file, haunted by recurring dreams of empty streets and a voice counting down from a number he couldn't remember. Today, the town still exists. You can drive through it. Eat at the diner by the river. Everything looks normal if you don't stay too long. But locals say some nights the emergency broadcast system activates on its own. No message, just a low hum, like something waiting to be noticed again. And somewhere in a sealed database, the evacuation order remains, its cause still blank, suggesting whatever they feared was never a disaster at all, just something that learned it could be